Hi and welcome. In this video, I'll show you how to create and send an NDA for signature directly from Slack. To set up this automation, you need fynk, Slack, and Zapier to glue this together using a Zap. Let's start by creating your NDA template in fynk. Open fynk and click on this button to create a new template. I'll give it a name and create it and just paste my text here. Now I have to create two parties for my NDA. One would be the recipient and the other my company. So let's go to the Parties and Signatories tab. First, I would add the recipient. Just give it a name like recipient and save. And now I add another party, which is my company, as the internal party. And I choose this user to be the signatory as well. By adding a signatory, you can also add the signature block at the end of document by clicking this button. And if we go back to the document content, we can see that two sets of new fields have been created by fynk. These are the name, address, and signature blocks of each party. So I just drag the signature block of the recipient too and place it next to my own signature block. Then what I'm going to do is to replace these static placeholders with the fields that I just created. I'm just going to change the name and address of each party with these fields. Since I have other placeholders that I need to fill with the Slack message that I'm sending, I'm going to create a dynamic field for each of these values. For example, for the email address, job title, and of course for the restriction period. Our template is now complete and all we have to do is to publish it. Now we have everything that we need to set up the automation in Zapier. But before we do that, I need to explain something about the message that you send in the Slack. So as we saw in the NDA templates, we need several pieces of information that the automation can collect from our Slack message. In this example, we need 7 values: the person's first name, family name, address, job title, company name, and the confidentiality restriction period. And of course, their email address. But here's the important thing. You should always keep the values in the same order. For example, if you write the email address and then name and family name, in the next message, you should keep the same order. So you cannot first add the name and then email address. This is important because Zapier doesn't read the message and work out what each line means. It simply counts the line, separate it, and then map out each of these values with a specific dynamic field that we just create in the template. So, long story short, always keep the same order for your information. It's time to build the Zap. Open Zapier and click on Create to start a new Zap. The first step is the trigger. This tells Zapier when to start the automation. Search for Slack and select it. For the trigger event, choose New Message Posted to Channel. Then make sure that your Slack account is connected. Next, in the Configure page, choose the channel that will receive this request. I've created a dedicated channel called NDA, so I select that one. Because this channel only handles NDA requests, every new message can start the automation. So make sure that you use that channel only for this purpose, or if you use it for any other purposes as well, make sure that you create a filter at the next step so that only the messages with the special word or any other filter get through. Before testing the trigger, post an example request of your message in the Slack channel using the format that I described to you. So our next step is to split that block of text into 7 separate values. So in the next step, choose Formatter and as an action event, choose Text. In the next window, we have to choose Split Text here. We can now choose our input from the previous step, which is text, so I just search for text and choose this one. As a separator, you can use anything you like, for example, comma as a separator, but here I'm going to use the new line and put it between a bracket and a column. And finally, as a segment index, choose the last option, which is all as separate fields. Then we hit continue and test it. You should now see several separate results in the same order as your original Slack message. Now that we have all the values as separate fields, we can now map the party details. Add a new step and choose fynk as the action app. As an action event, choose create document from template. Make sure your account is connected, and in the next step, choose a name for your document. You can choose something like NDA, and then from the previous step, choose the family name of our recipient. Then choose the template that you have in fynk. In my case, is NDAs. And as you do, all of the fields that needs to be mapped out will appear here. And if you scroll down here, you can see the dynamic fields that we created. And now I'm going to choose from the previous step the correct value for each of these. So I just go ahead and map these fields. And at the very end, you have this option to move your document to the signing stage. Now we have to test whether this automation works or not. So I just test it out. Now if I open my fynk, I can see the new NDA in my account set on signing already, which means it's now safe to publish our Zap. So return to the NDA channel in a Slack. I send a new message using new values, but with the same order that we used. Now, if we go back to fynk, after a few seconds, we should be able to see the new NDA. Here's my new NDA, completely created only by a message to a Slack channel. You can also adapt this setup to other types of contracts. Choose a different template, and the same workflow could create employment offers, freelancer agreements, or vendor contracts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.